Everything sounds low.
I don't know how to turn that part up.
It's all that stuff.
No, it's not.
Featuring major interviews,
This is our mic.
current events, and the hottest ringers.
Oh, then I don't know.
The Undercard is sponsored by Falling Down Beer Company, Cassie Choice Studios, and is produced by Rochelle Whitney. And now, here are
Jimmy,
your
start it.
hosts,
He's here.
Frank,
Okay.
Cody, and Jimmy.
Welcome to the Undercard. We are on episode. What episode are we on, Rochelle?
I have to.
Rochelle is the gatekeeper of the episodes. It's something.
Yep.
Got
that right.
Yeah, it's
Good
two
job.
something. I know we're approaching 3 something, but I'm not exactly sure where we fall in. We are coming to you on Monday nights, currently for the next how many weeks, approximately? It's like 5, 6 weeks. Yeah, 5, 6 weeks.
We are at 277.
We are at 277. Wow, 277. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of time off.
Yeah, we did have a lot of time off. There was some illness and a few other things that interfered with us.
Life.
Yeah, life. Life gets in the way. Oh man. Oh, Rochelle. Oh, she just dropped everything. But yeah, so we're back. We're gonna be on Monday nights from now for about another 5 weeks or so. Because on Tuesday nights, Brad coaches baseball, and he will be doing that. Is that not true?
He doesn't coach it this year.
Oh, he's not coaching it this year?
No.
Oh, I thought he was coaching it still.
No, but we were responsible for getting his son to and from the
Oh,
game.
yeah, okay, yeah. So it's still baseball related. I thought Brad was still coaching. That's my bad. We're coming off of big weekend in boxing. We had Clarissa Shields versus what's her first name?
Hannah Gabriels.
Hannah. It's Henna or Hannah?
Hannah.
Hannah. Okay.
Yeah.
Hannah Gabriels, which was on Showtime Boxing. It was a big fight, and it did not disappoint. If you had the opportunity to watch it, either live or on Showtime, it was a great card. If you didn't, I recommend you go try to find it. Clarissa Shields is now 6-0, and her opponent was just, she was coming in at 18-1, correct? I think it was like 18-1.
18-1 or 20-1.
Okay.
She had, yeah.
Okay, but a really high record.
Yeah.
And Clarissa was coming in 5-0 with only 5 professional fights, so it was a big fight for her, and she did not disappoint. Brad's going to go over it, I'm sure, in his own way. But from me, as a spectator, watching it, in the first round, Hannah hit her and knocked her down, but Shields, to her credit, got her right back up. She and carried the next 9 rounds to win the unanimous decision.
The best part about the night was that it was history in the making because we had 2 female fights as the main and co-main event that night on live TV, and that's the first time it's been done.
Right. I'm sorry. I got it. Our guest came in. I got to move our camera now.
Awesome. What were you talking
Because
about?
he's not sitting in the guest spot, Brad.
Sorry, somebody was already over there. I didn't figure it out.
That's fine. It's fine. I can move it.
No, it was a good night. First off, there was a lot of boxing this weekend. Friday night, of course, was the Salida show at Masonic Temple, which was on Showtime. And it's always good when national media comes into town. There were some heavy hitters in the media row. And then Saturday, Tommy and Jackie Callan had a show in Greektown. And so it was 2 nights of boxing. It was great. My thoughts on the Shields fight, really quick, how I just break down stuff, is that's the best I've ever seen Shields. She's young, so she's headed in the right direction. She fought her best opponent to date. I thought Hannah Gabriels was a real athlete. I'm not sure I can say that about too much of her previous opponents. She was the quickest opponent that Shields has faced, and I have seen Shields' whole pro career covering most of it. And Hannah did what she had to do in the beginning, caught Shields off guard. Shields probably was stunned by it, but like true champions do, she got up. I thought Hannah began to tank somewhere in the middle rounds. It looked like both of them wanted to counter each other. And in the process of wanting to counter each other, I think Hannah got a little bit out of her game plan. I think she even admits it on some audio that we're going to play for you here in a second or two. But at the end, Shields pulls away and looks good. The co-main event had Christina Hammer versus Tori Nelson. Of course, everybody wants Christina Hammer now to face Shields. It's going to happen. And I don't know what I guess I wanted, just from a media standpoint, for Hammer to clearly
Be more exciting.
No, I mean, this is no disrespect to Tori Nelson, but if she would have knocked out Tori Nelson and Shields couldn't knock her out, then there's even a little bit more excitement, because it's like, okay, well, Christina Hammer's bringing something to the table that Shields wasn't able to do in New York earlier this year. As media, you don't root, but I mean, that would have been a great
Just gives
storyline.
props to Tori then.
Oh, Tori's tough. I mean,
Yeah,
she comes
she did
forward and
good.
she has a good chin. I thought Hammer looked exactly like Shields did in January, or whenever it was, February or March, in New York. And so I didn't see anything she did that Shields didn't do against Tori Nelson. And we do have audio here. We're going to play Tori Nelson first. So the only question that I care about as media is the power question. Tori Nelson is the only common denominator out there right now that I got to speak to on whether or not Shields is more powerful or Hammer, and she just got done fighting Hammer, and I believe that's the question I open up with. This is just a quick one-on-one with Tori Nelson about the fight. You got to feel both power within the. Tori, you got to be in the ring with Shields and Hammer. Let's first talk about power. You got to feel both power within this last year. Who do you think is the more powerful puncher?
I think Hammer has a nice jab, but Clarissa overall her power is better. I felt her power a little more than I felt Hammer. Hammer has a nice jab though, but all the punches is nice.
Both of them, you were able to take the distance. Any regrets or anything you would have done different against both of them that now, in retrospect, having gone the distance, you would have tried?
To win, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know already they're the champions, so you're already, 2-3 rounds down. So you really have to just push it more and do extra. And I guess I ain't doing enough, you know?
Now, being in the ring with two world champions like that and going the distance and just having a great chin and moving forward, where do you think your career goes from here? Obviously, it looks like Hammer's going against Shields, but Hannah had a great fight, was able to knock Shields down. Would that be a fight that would interest you?
Yeah, maybe. If the money right, yeah, I'd come fight Hannah. Hannah did great. You know, she took the power, she took the punches. She went in there for the distance. She did good. So, yeah, of course, I'll take that fight.
Best of luck for the rest of your career.
Thank you.
So there was Tori talking that she thought Shields had a little bit more power, but she thought Hammer had a great jab. And later on in the show, you'll hear Shields think that Hammer was not rooting for her. But I was able to ask, I believe, the first few questions to Christina Hammer right after her fight on Media Row. And one of my questions at the end of it was she going to root for Shields? And you'll hear her answer in a second, but the thing is, Shields didn't believe that Hammer was rooting for her. Why not? It's a payday. And clearly these two girls don't like each other. That's probably the the best part about it. And we'll talk a little bit what happens after the fight. But here's Christina Hammer talking a little bit about her fight with Tori Nelson and the upcoming Shields.
All right, we're gonna have to, because it might stop and start a little bit because I got to find the actual spot. So hold on a second.
Oh, okay.
A little bit about what you felt from Nelson and how you dominated like Shields did.
She's a very tough fighter. She has a good experience, and she gets so much punches in her face, and she okay, I continue. And so I was a little bit express how much punches she can take. And so, but I do my line. I'm in the line and keep on working my boxing skills. And so I have to wait every second to stop her and wait for the right punch. But so that's boxing. Everything can happen, and I win. That's the next victory, and that's important for me.
You looked a little bit more explosive in the inside than you have been in the past. Is it something you've been working on? You seem to fire away on Nelson, but like I said, Nelson had a strong chin.
Yes, I always use my reach, but I have in the last training seasons I do a lot of work inside to stop with the uppercut and land some good punches in the inside to body shots. And so there's a lot of work, and I always stay focused and working forward to these fights here versus Gabriel.
Are you ready to fight, Clarissa?
What?
Are you ready to fight, Clarissa?
Yes, I'm looking forward. I'm interested in this fight. What he's doing against Gabriel. Gabriel has good footwork, and that will be not a good fight for Shields. And so he has to win, then he can fight against me.
What's it going to take for you to beat Clarissa?
What?
How are you going to beat Clarissa?
Clarissa is good in the inside, but I can use my distance, my reach, my footwork, and so that I think these fights will be interesting because Gabriel has a good footwork too, and Shields never fight an opponent like her.
How big would that fight be? Would that be the biggest fight ever?
Yes, that will be the game changer, and I think every people is interested Hammer versus Shields, and so you asked me, what is this Shields? You fight with her? And so I think that will be the biggest fight ever.
Would you want to fight her in Detroit, or would you want to fight her somewhere away from her hometown?
I think a neutral place will be good, because I want to win, I will win, and in Detroit, it's her hometown, it's not the same, you know? Everything has to be neutral, and so the people have just normal, punch to punch, not in favor of.
That being said, you're probably pulling for Shields, right? You want that fight to happen as much as you respect Hannah. You're rooting for Shields to win tonight.
Yeah, sure. That's the best win, and I'm very looking forward to see this fight, and I hope you do well because I want to beat her.
Will you go up in weight, or will you come down, or how y'all going to do the weight?
She wants to come down in the middleweight. She did it for the first time, and so she wants to come down to the middleweight. I'm just waiting for her.
All right, so there you have Hammer saying that she is rooting for Shields. This is before Shields and Gabrielle's had fought. That all that music is the background music as Showtime is going through their pre-fight, pros, cons, all that stuff. But I do have to say, Christina Hammer now, I think I've interviewed her a few times, is a class act. But one of the people that I've enjoyed over the years interviewing is Hannah Gabriels. She was absolutely a delight all week. Very positive energy, and
Even after the fight.
yeah, even after the fight. But here's Hannah Gabriels about her fight with Shields after she had just lost a unanimous decision to Clarissa.
I wanted to see how powerful she is, because you don't know if you fight for somebody. But yes, she is powerful. I don't think she's the most powerful I ever fought, but that's if I try to do my best, I try to do my heart to her. I don't think I lost with so many points, to be honest. And, when you're smaller, then things get difficult. But I really hope that people enjoy this fight. I really put my heart on it, and I hope that people got the excitement that they expect from boxing.
Would you like a rematch with it?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Tell us about the first round knockout.
I didn't expect to knock her down. To be honest, I don't think I'm that powerful. But I was trying to find my feet. But yeah, it was difficult because she was really strong. I don't gain more than 6 pounds when I finish my weigh-in, so I think that affects me a little bit because it must be a bit more heavier. But I feel good. I stand tall. I think this fight shows my heart and what I represent as a champion.
It looked like you guys both wanted to counter each other there in the middle rounds, or you were slowing down a little bit. First off, how was your stamina through the whole fight? And then were you guys both looking to counter after that first knockdown?
Well, I think we plan to be a little bit more on the distance, but I think my heart betrays me because I want to go in there. I want to show her also that I'm powerful and that I do have a warrior's heart. So I don't know. After that knockdown, I didn't even feel like that was an advantage. I knew I had to work to even have a possibility to win, right? But like I said, I don't think I lost for so many points, and I don't know if I lost at all. But I respect the opinion of the judges. When you're a boxer and when you're a professional, all you got in this is the trust that the people around you is gonna have the ethical and that they will be ethical and they will do the right thing. So if they gave her the win, that's fine with me.
Who do you think wins? Should fight
You know what? If Hammer has to work a lot in her condition because I heard she looked tired a little bit with Tori. And Tori, she's very skilled, she's very experienced, so she don't have the speed that Teresa has. She will have to work a lot with her conditioning. Her job is really good, and she can keep people awake. But I don't know, it's a fight that I would like to see.
All right, that might be the end of it. And then Shields came out and talked to the media, and the one thing I noticed about Shields, and we might have had a technical difficulty, and just in case we did have a technical difficulty, we might have not had some of the mics on, but what we are discussing here is the Shields versus Gabrielle's fight, Showtime. So if the beginning audio had not taken place, right now we are getting Shields' reaction to her win over Gabrielle's on Friday night.
I'm more than, and I don't think she wants to talk to me, but we got to fight this anyway. We got to unify, so I'm ready. I don't know. I really can't remember. I think every time she get in the ring, you know, she just gets in the ring and disrespects me. It's like, this is my time to shine. I just won 2 middleweight world titles. I dropped down weight 23 pounds, and then every time you feel like it's okay to disrespect me. You know, you and your team. I just wasn't having it today. I don't know who started it, but I didn't want to finish it for sure.
When you got knocked down, that took something off with you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, one, I've never been knocked down before.
Right.
I've never got an 8 count. But I know once I hit the ground, I took a deep breath, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm not whooping this girl ass. That's what I remember thinking to myself. And I just remember thinking, okay, I'll let you to jab, let's be smart. Because I already knew her eyes was thicker than mine. But I didn't know she had any power from watching the videos. So I told myself, cross the jab, you just killed and show why you're the woke. And I went out there and I did that. I think I did a great job.
You looked more explosive tonight. Do you feel like your performance, if you would rate it over your pro career? Where's this performance tonight?
I trained my ass off for this fight. You know, this fight, how great I think I am, I work my ass off every camp. I run. I make sure I was in shape. I sparred 8 rounds, 10 rounds. I worked out twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. Hell, I made the weight. So, just that being said, like, I knew I was well prepared. So it wasn't a thought in my mind that when I got knocked down, I wasn't thinking, oh, don't get back up. I thought, let's show her that she can't beat me. Let's show her if we got to go all 10. I bet you can't knock me down again. I bet you can't finish it. And I already knew she couldn't. She started dying down, holding me, headbutting me more than one time. The headbutt did not just cut me, just come off one headbutt. I think the only shot she really hit me to the head, I could tell you the first round, 4th round, and the 8th. Other than that, she didn't hit me no headshot. She headbutted the shit out of me. The ref tried to control it, but he didn't really start saying anything until like the 7th round. But at the end of the day, I went and got the job done, so I'm happy.
And with Hammer, she's weight. She's talking about you have to come down to her weight.
Yeah, she won't come with the mine. She ain't stupid.
If she don't come up, you're not going down, are you?
I just play at 160 tonight.
That's what I know. I said you can't go down to that weight.
So we're staying.
Okay,
No, me and him are at the same weight.
Okay.
She 162.
Okay, the 160.
Yeah, we both. Hopefully it's next. I don't need no rest. I could have whooped her ass tonight. She's lucky I wasn't able to grab her. Her and her boyfriend. I'm just sick of that whole team. It's disrespecting me. I really got a short fuse for her. Like even when I seen her all week, it just irritated me all week. Like.
Realistically, you think it's what, 6 months out?
No, I think it's sooner than that. Maybe in September, October. Yeah, hopefully.
Happy Halloween.
It'd be way better if we could fight on Christmas, but I don't think I'm that special yet.
What happened inside the ring after the fight between you and her? Between you and Hammer, the little altercation, like what was going on there?
Well, this Hammer always disrespecting me, you know what I mean? Even online. And she think it's okay that she want to steal my shine. Like, I don't go over there in Germany and jump in the ring when she won a world title. But she come over here, she's been in 3 of my fights. Sitting ringside, jumping in the ring, talking shit. But it's like, when the hell are you going to sign a contract so me and you can fight? How come you didn't come to 168 if you so bad to beat me? Why I got to come to you? You know, just me having to make all those sacrifices. It pisses me off, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I'm out to prove that I'm the greatest woman of all time. And I'm going to do it step by step, round by round.
Hometown crowd seem to live and die with every punch you threw tonight. How much having them behind you mean?
Well, I am Flint. Michigan lives deep down inside of me, so I knew that they were going to be as strong as I was, and I knew I wasn't just fighting for myself inside the ring. I was fighting for Flint, my family, my friends, Michigan, and the USA. You know, I'm in a match. So I knew I always know what I stand for, and I know that at the end of the day, I'm a champion of heart. Boxing is a small boxing match. I've been fighting boxing matches throughout my whole life, not even just in the sport, but just in life, and I've been able to come out on top with everything. So at the end of the day, like I said, I can take it day by day, round by round, one person at a time. I get the job done.
Would that be the biggest for this fight of all?
Well, if him are better than, if him are better than him, sure. But if he not, I don't think so. But it will be a great fight, and against 2 champions to unify, and it's gonna happen. So hopefully you guys be there, and you guys don't know that me getting dropped in the first round turned me into a whole different animal. I'm actually kind of scared for Hammer because now I'm gonna be a lot more smarter. And I'm going to go out there trying not to girl out every round now, because now I know that I'm going to take it more serious now. Like I said, I trained my ass off for this fight. If I could have trained any harder, I would. I trained my butt off, and that's why I came out victorious.
She said she wouldn't want to fight in Detroit.
Huh?
She said she wouldn't want to fight you in Detroit. She'd want a neutral fight.
Oh. Cool. It don't matter where we fight at. She's going home with the L. It don't matter. She think that my fans not going to come wherever we fight at. They're still going to yell and talk shit to her. I'm going to yell and talk shit to her. She got to deal with it, period.
You said to me about, I guess it was a month and a half ago now, that you wanted to obviously win championships on multiple weight classes, and now you got the first one. I mean, how does it feel like reflecting on that you're champ in 2 weight classes?
Oh, it feels good. You know, I feel like I'm the pound for pound greatest woman of all time. And it feels good. I really want to get Hammer out the way, and we'll see how I do at that 154 after the fight with Hammer. But I think we just have to really focus on the weight and focus on winning world championships. Like I said, I still want to fight the best. It doesn't matter to me. I know I can come out on top every time. So.
All right. So that was Shields talking about Hammer, and what she was referring to is after she won by unanimous decision over Gabrielle's, Hammer got in the ring. I think Shields invited her in the ring, so I don't know what she's saying, disrespecting. I could be 100%.
I don't remember. I just remember there was like pandemonium.
It
all
was
of a
like,
sudden.
hey, congratulations, blah, 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 and they were talking a little bit, and all of a sudden, and I'm like, what just happened?
That's boxing, but
Yeah.
I think Shields pushed her first or tried to push her first.
See, I didn't even
You
see
know what?
Hammer in the ring. I saw her on the side of
How
the
can you
ring.
miss Hammer?
I was
She's
gonna
huge.
No. I saw her like on the
And her
outside
boyfriend's
of the
even
ring.
bigger.
Yeah, but you know what? To answer this question, everybody go to Showtime and look for the Shields fight, and you'll see what happened, because we don't remember. And there was a lot of people in the ring all at the same time. We were
That's- yeah,
and
that's
we
what
were
where I was
you know, and where we were, it was very hard to see what was going on.
So before we go to our last little audio clip here, so I wrote for FightNews.com that, you know, women's boxing, man, it needed something. And, you know, Shields, her fights, I'll just be honest, haven't been that entertaining until this last Friday. And
You know what's entertaining is her crowd that she brings.
okay.
The fans are they hype it up.
All right. But she had to do something, and the excitement is that she got knocked down, so she's behind 10-8 on the scorecards, and she comes back and wins. Now, I agree with Hannah in the respect that the scores weren't correct. I had Shields winning, but I thought Gabrielle's did a little bit better. But, so anyways, our last little audio clip is Mark Taffet, one of the most 5 powerful people in boxing. He is officially Shields' manager, and he will be the guy orchestrating behind the scenes to make the Shields Hammer thing successful and continue with women's boxing in Shields. So here's Mark. This is just a one-on-one last interview of the night, and here we go.
Mark, this week at the press conference, you talked about you could put fights on paper, but it's up to the fighters to make a good performance. You had adversity tonight. What a great fight. Tell us a little bit about your emotions right now.
I am so proud of what all of those women showed tonight. First, Christina Hammer, with a great win over Tori Nelson, and then an incredible fight, a true fight of the year candidate between Hannah Gabriel and now the 2 division champion, Clarissa Shields. I'm very proud of Clarissa. The diamond has to have facets. Clarissa added a few more facets to her diamond tonight. I told her when I saw that cut that she was pretty before, but now she's beautiful. And she matured a lot tonight. This is what every great fighter goes through. You know, Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Thomas Hearns, they all got down, they all got up, and that's what the fans want to see and what they remember. And women's boxing took center stage tonight. We are going to have a heck of a fight to look forward to between Clarissa Shields and Christina Hammer. And it may be the biggest and best fight in the entire sport for people to look forward to. So we accomplished what we wanted to tonight.
Shields looks more explosive, faster than she has in the past. The best fight is getting better. Explain that and where it can go from here.
Yeah, well, you know, I think she has truly unlimited potential. She's once in a century, she's once in a lifetime, and she developed a lot of character tonight, and I think she's going to be an even greater fighter because of it. If you look at what she's done, it's every bit what Lomachenko has done, and Clarissa is setting a trend for records and legacy that no woman and very few men have ever achieved. And if she continues at this pace, the sky's truly the limit.
Any idea where this Hammer Shield fight, I mean, Michigan in consideration, Europe in consideration?
They will fight in the United States. Christina Hammer came to the United States because she wanted to introduce the American public to her. It's part of the plan that they both won tonight, that they would meet each other sometime over the next few months. I expect in the fall that they will fight, and they will fight in the United States. and it will be one of the most anticipated fights in the sport of boxing. We have been saying for a long time that we want to get to the point where there aren't gender labels, and we think we now have a great boxing match. Nothing to do with male fighters or female fighters, just a great fight coming up. So we're very excited.
Last question really quick. Nelson is a common opponent from Hammer and Shields. What would you think of Hammer's performance against Nelson, a common opponent that Shields took up?
Listen, I thought Christina Hammer was very impressive tonight. She's very disciplined. She's got great skills. She has incredible balance. You know, her footwork is strong. She throws good straight punches. I think she's a great challenge for Clarissa Shields, and that's what brings out the best in fighters. When the best fight the best, there are no losers. And when Clarissa Shields and Christina Hammer meet in the ring, I think it's going to be a historic fight. I think it's going to be a fight that people are going to talk about for a generation, and I think that it's going to be truly be the fight that breaks the glass ceiling for women.
Thank you so much, man. Hey, bring that fight.
All right. I was telling him to bring that fight to Michigan. But anyways, and then I don't even know if it was off the record, his response, so I can't say it. But I'm sure they will shop that around to see the best. We're going to go to our first commercial break, and then we got an in-studio guest. We're going to switch it over to MMA. Here's a guy that, speaking of facing a little bit of adversity and then changing things quick like Shields did on Showtime on Friday night, we have Drew Morais. Who is one of the hottest names in MMA, just not Michigan MMA right now, as his career has definitely changed paths. He's a dangerous guy. We're going to have him at about 5 minutes.
You're listening to the Undercard.
welcome back to the Undercard. We deeply do apologize, but there was some technical difficulties earlier. So if you caught the beginning of the show, it went straight into the Tori Nelson interview. What we were discussing earlier is a great weekend of boxing in Detroit. It started off on Friday with Salida Promotions and Showtime with Shields versus Gabrielle's. I'm mispronouncing stuff now. And then it continued on with Hammer versus Nelson. And we were talking about how good of a performance Shields had. And I just recapped before we went into the quotes that women's boxing kind of needed a little bit of something. And what they got was adversity right off the first round with Hannah knocking down Shields. And then Shields coming back and having the ability to have a good fight against Hannah, an enjoyable fight. And that's where we stood on that. And my overall impressions of Hammer, where she fought exactly as Shields did versus Nelson. And so, that's where we stand. And so if you just tuned into the show, you went straight into the post quotes. And then as Jimmy was saying, Jimmy was in the crowd, entertaining crowd, good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of sitting back in the shadows because that's where my seat was. But the people that were around me were a very eclectic group. We'll leave it at that. Mm-hmm. There was a wide variety of different types of people and a wide variety of different types of reactions to the boxing matches. So, but it was really good. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed myself. They were, not just the Shields fight and not just the Hammer fight, but the Russians and all the undercard fights. They were all really, really good fights.
All right. So as I talked about before our break, all the buttons hit correctly here before we go. All right, there we go.
It's your fault, Brad. You like to change things like right at the last minute before we go on.
Like, we're going to do it in between this and then do this.
This is why we have production meetings. Or we're supposed to have production meetings.
I still like the way it went into it. So, but anyways, we were talking before the break. We want to welcome Drew Morais to the show. How are you doing, Drew?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, man.
Good.
Coming fresh off a knockout victory. First off, great victory. All right.
Thank you.
And before we get into that, I kind of hinted a little bit in your career, and I'm just being honest because that's what we do on the undercard. You were a good fighter, but I don't think anybody thought of you as a great fighter. You made some life changes. Not only did you make some life changes, some training changes, and all of a sudden now you're ranked very high in Michigan, but you're also on the radars of People Nationals. Tell us a little bit pre-fight what's been going on in Drew Morais' life.
Well, as you did, I had to make some changes outside to make it better when I was in the ring. I wasn't living the best life. I had a drinking problem. I'd be honest with you, and I had to address that. And that took away a lot of my training. Me being the best I could be. And I got sober, and it seemed like between that and other personal things outside the ring, it started to make me mentally stronger. I was able to put more work in. I felt healthier. And for that, they just took my career, to a different level. Or me personally, to a different level. And then I made the switch in the gyms that I thought that was the best switch for me. And it's paid dividends compared to what I was. I think that I found the right coach and the right situation for me that made me stronger as a fighter and also made me better as a person. I think those two kind of, they go hand in hand, with the gym and, outside life as well for me.
And so Mike and Norby approach you. First off, you have a fight lined up, and do they give you a couple opponents to choose from, or they say you're going to fight this fighter?
They give me a name and I take it. I don't need multiple names. They offered Darius. I said, yeah, let's go. I don't need multiple names. I don't care who I fight. Just send me the paper and let's go.
All right. And Darius was undefeated when you're fighting him. And really quickly about Darius from Michigan Top Team. I don't know. It's an act, but whatever. Boxing and MMA, it's the theater of the absurd. But he kind of does like this Heath Ledger Joker kind of thing and stuff like that. It's gonna be interesting because you physically broke the guy. If when you play that edge, And I'd tell him to his face, when you play that edge of like unbeatable, when it happens like Tyson and you're invincible, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Those faces
yeah.
he make, he tries to, act, and whatever. Everybody has something.
That's his persona,
Yeah, right. But to lose like he did, it's interesting. Could you continue on with that persona, or now you realize you might be human, but you basically wanted to touch gloves with him. So some highlights we'll talk about. Didn't want to touch gloves with you. In the second round, you had him in massive trouble. He's saved by the bell. Probably shouldn't have been continued there. Isn't able to recover in time, and then you finish him off with just some haymakers. Tell us a little bit about. Let's start when you hurt him in the second round, what you're thinking in the corner, and then when you come out to the third round, how you jump on him so he doesn't recover.
I think when I first heard him was actually in the end of the first. I felt like that his demeanor changed. I kind of seen in his eyes that, he was like, I think I seen him like kind of like second guessing himself at that point. It was because I had a counter for everything he did. I was, he was playing checkers, I was playing chess, and it was that it started about the end of the first round. Then the second round, I started feeling my timing coming a little more, and then I was, I was beating every punch. I was like, okay, I'm starting to take over now. Like I'm gonna take this fight over. And then when I heard him at the end of the second round, I'm sitting there and you see on video, I'm looking at him and like he's not getting up, and I'm like, how are they not stopping this fight? And then his cornermen pick him up and carry him to the corner. You're not allowed to do that. We got to walk to the corner on our own will. And I'm like, this fight's got to be over. And they send the doctors in, and I'm kind of like, I'm talking to my corner like, this fight's over.
Right.
And then the doctor turned around and said he's fine. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? And then I'm thinking in my head, like, this dude's tough. Like, what do I got to do to get this guy out of here? And then if you watch the video, you see my best friend, cornerman, Brandon McGoffin, just like, he leans over and says something. He's like, end this shit now. Like, so I just was like, listen, I know. And then I slid across the cage, and I see him, he's stumbling. I'm like, all I need is a couple. And I just set it up, and I threw a jab, and I came with a 2-3. And I think he might have levitated for a minute on that three. I mean, I hit him hard. And I was like, I remember thinking, like, if this doesn't stop him, I don't know what will. Because I hit him hard. I threw everything I had in that punch, and I just threw a couple follow-ups. And, referee pulled me off. And it felt good at that point. There was a lot of hard work that went into that fight. And I like Darius, I really do. He's we before the fight, probably before we even scheduled the fight, him and I got along great. He's a very nice guy. Mm-hmm. If that's his persona, that's him, okay? He can talk all he wants. That's not me. That's not who I am. But it was just felt good to be like, hey, kind of shut him up now, you know. And it felt great. It was a good victory for me and my team, and it was a good night.
It's just that persona, and been around the fight game a long time. It's the Ronda Rousey, it's the Tyson that once you do that persona where like you remember how Ronda used to walk right in their face and like just like. But when you lose, like that persona, it seems to just like, I don't know, you take like almost 3 steps back when you're walking that line of no humble, you know what I'm saying? And he could prove me wrong and come back and be fine, and he's got a great camp and everything like that.
I hope he does. He's a great guy.
Right.
I hope he does.
It's just a tough persona, and you come across as just the nicest guy, very relaxed at weigh-ins. Very relaxed during fight week. I know you're always hungry and want to eat.
I'm just too tired to do anything at that point. I'm hungry. I'm exhausted. I cut a lot of weight, But the thing with the weigh-ins, and people huff and puff the chest. It's like you're just wasting energy. I'm not wasting energy. I don't have to talk. I'll talk when I get in there. And I just I don't know. It's not who I am. I'll joke around sometimes and kind of talk trash online, but when it comes to get ready for a fight, all that talking stops. I focus on training. That's where my energy's at, and and it's been paying off.
Now, you're talking that you talk a little bit online, but actually you're a humble guy. I mean, you've done commentary. You've been around for a long time. You're a wrestling coach. You just got well-rounded a little bit of everything, but tell us what you think the state of Michigan MMA is. I mean, strong out there? You happy to be a part of it, or you wish more promotions out there? What's your wishes?
I'm definitely happy to be a part of it. This is where I'm from, and this is where I'll stay. I will end my career here, and and we're taking off. People are starting to realize that, hey, we got some bad cats out there in the mitten, and for a while there, we were just kind of on the back burner. Then you had then Darren broke the scene. Then you got Kevin Lee, Tony Ferguson. They're all Michigan groomed guys. Mike Perry. All of them are Michigan guys originally. And I think UFC starting to notice it. You got Cody Stamen in there now, killing it. And we're on the map. And here soon, I'm gonna make sure we stay on that map. I'm gonna get there this year. I'm not gonna stop till I get there. So it's gonna happen this year. I guarantee it.
And I'm looking at you, and you don't have. I mean, what was that? 2 or 3 weeks ago? You don't have any facial. Did you have anything from the fight? Any injuries? Anything?
I had I got hurt before the fight. The Friday before the fight, I broke my rib, and
no, we're talking about from the fight.
For the fight.
Like there's nothing.
I had a small scratch. I got kind of poked in the eye. It was right here. I always heal quick though. But other than that, the kind of black eye I have was from training before. It was just I've had this black eye for a month now. So it was. I felt fine, no injuries. Besides what was happened before. And just minor soreness. I went back to working out again today. Took a week off, kind of rested up a little bit. It was a long training camp. It was I think ended up being 13 weeks because they ended up pulling the fight back a little bit because Darius and I were originally supposed to fight on a card before that Ypsilanti card, that Vegas Ice card. We were supposed to fight, and then I had some personal stuff on the outside of the cage that I take care of first, and so then I was training for him at the time, but then I had to push it back. So then WXT's like, we'll make it happen on our card. I said, okay, so we just kept the training camp going. So it ended up being actually a really long training camp. It's kind of hard to stay healthy in that long of a training camp, especially working out hard. But yeah, I mean, in the fight, no injuries, everything was fine.
Now we talked. So I treat it as before you I don't want to say get serious because you're always serious about the sport, but before things have gotten better for you to now. Tell everybody your age first off, Drew, and I really do feel after watching you the last few months here, like you got something going on.
I'm 29 now. I'll be 30 in a month and a half. September, turn 30.
It's all downhill from there.
I hope not.
I'm
trying to go. I'm trying to go up now.
I'll tell you this. I didn't join the military until I was 30. I turned 31 in basic training. Your 30s is actually your prime.
Right.
So you're actually heading towards your prime.
Well, that's scary then.
Yeah.
Now, who do you want to fight in Michigan MMA? And I mean, who knows? You could get a call from Bellator and UFC. Who knows? I mean, that's how quickly I think you flipped your career. But is there anybody out there you want to fight, or anybody nationally that you'd like to come up to Michigan promotion and fight?
I don't really, look too far in that sense. Like I said, I'll fight, anybody. It's just it's what makes sense at this point. Because I'm at that door right now. So everything's got to make sense at this point. And I actually just been talking with a new management company. I'm thinking about signing with them. Actually, I'm going to sign with them. And it's going to be huge. I'll probably make an announcement sometime in the next couple of days of who it is. And it's huge for my career. And I'm excited to work with this group. And like I said, it's going to happen this year. So I'm excited.
All right, we're being joined by Drew All Day Morais. And speaking of your age and being around for a little bit, tell us a little bit about, I don't want to say who you like coming up in MMA, but some of the future superstars you think in MMA that you've seen.
On an amateur level, I'm a huge fan of Sterling Brown.
Okay.
He fought on that night.
Yeah.
I was a fan of his before he got sick or something, and had to take some time off MMA. But I was a huge fan of him before that. But then he came back, and that dude's exciting to watch. He's gonna be a force, And a huge fan of Sterling Brown. Beginning pros, I've always been a big fan. I mean, pros in general, but I'm a big fan of Marco Smallman, one of my teammates.
Right.
But just huge fan of Marco. Extremely humble, very talented. He's one of those guys that have endless amounts of potential.
The hybrid. Baby.
Oh yeah, man. He's a nightmare to train with too. He's actually one that broke my rib. But yeah, big fan of him. And for the lower type pros, I don't get to see many of them much anymore. I'm trying to think. Off the top of the head, I'm not really exactly sure, but for the amateurs, Sterling Brown's who really sticks out to me big time.
Marco Smallman, who you mentioned, he's another guy that's on the cusp of great things. Really tough, right? You come from a wrestling. It seems like, I mean, he's nicknamed the hybrid because he can almost do everything.
Yeah.
How strong is his wrestling? How strong is the complete package?
Well, he was a wrestler first. He wrestled in high
Right.
school and stuff. It's with him. It's just how physically gifted he is. He's extremely strong.
He looks like a fighter.
Yeah, he's
You know?
extremely strong, and it's like that annoying strength that doesn't go anywhere. Like
Mhm.
he doesn't get tired, so he's just strong all the time. You know, and with him is that he has a crazy work ethic. Like he does, it's so hard to outwork him. Like, I was always raised to be the hardest worker in the room, and then when Marco's in the room, it's hard because I mean he's working and it pushes me. You know, and then we kind of push each other, but his work ethic is just insane. So I think that's what separates him a lot from people who he fights and who he's eventually going to fight. Is that his work ethic is just unbelievable.
Now, you've had some pro boxing in your career too, right? You did two.
I did. I've done amateurs and pro boxing. I started off as an amateur boxer.
Right.
And then wrestling, then amateur boxing, then I went to MMA.
Now, is it just now MMA? Even if somebody offered you, you're just so focused.
Right now, yeah. I think where I'm at now, I need to focus on that. You know, at the point where I was turning my career around, I said that I was done boxing at that point. Not done, but maybe I'll do some more boxing towards when I'm on my way out. But right now it'll take quite a bit of amount of money to get me back in the ring. Because it's not real. I can't say it's not worth it, but I mean it's at this point it's smarter just to focus on MMA right now. Because we're there.
Oh, you're right there.
So it's like, why take a chance of getting a stupid injury, going to a boxing match or something? I don't want the stock to fall at all. I know they really don't. They're not gonna look at the boxing match, but
it takes time though.
Yeah, and that could be me training for boxing matches. This could be time that could be taken away from me getting better at MMA.
Exactly.
So right now, no, not at all.
Well, I love your story, Drew, because like I said, it's a great comeback, and I'll be first to admit I didn't say you were done, but when people would talk about who I think could make it, your name wasn't on, but now you're right there, and it's not about jumping off bandwagons or stuff like that. I just gotta be honest with what I'm seeing,
I appreciate that.
The transformation has been. I mean, these aren't like just little finishes too. That was a finish, and that gets attention. It's on UFC Fight Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been approached by any bigger promotions for a fight yet? I mean, once you get a management team, things are
with
sailing.
With who's coming in to manage me, it's bigger promotions are coming. The things that we spoke about, obviously can't say.
Right.
But there's really big things coming this year, and I'm excited. Like this is what I work for. This is why I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, work out, go to work, come home, go to work out again. That's why I take time away from my family. Is for what's happening at this point.
Right. And you got a big family, a lot of kids, and
I have
just
a huge
welcome another
family,
one.
Man. I have a huge
You
family.
have a new baby.
Yeah, he's at my father's house. I was gonna bring him,
You good?
but I didn't know, so he's at my
Look
father's.
at my daughter's face. She's just like,
I'm
didn't
sorry.
bring
Yeah.
him.
Next time I'll bring him in. We'll have a segment just for him. Yeah, we just my girlfriend and I welcomed Ronan in January, and he's awesome. He's a chill, and that's he's a good baby. He only cries when he's hungry, and that's it. So
Now we gotta ask your girlfriend over there. When he's cutting weight, do you stay away from fried foods, or you don't rub it in his face? Do you? You just gotta lean into the mic and talk.
No, we don't eat like that in general.
Closer.
Yeah, we don't eat like that in general. So I mean, it's not too hard to just. I just know to keep it's more so like cookies, ice cream.
I love cookies.
Who doesn't?
Like stuff like that
I mean,
more
come
so
on.
than bad stuff. But
Yeah, we eat pretty clean.
let's say we eat pretty well. So
Now, were you around MMA before, Drew?
no.
Okay, so first off, how did you guys meet? And then when he tells you he's an MMA fighter, what do you think?
I mean.
You Google him right away, right?
No, actually.
Feel like, is he good?
No, he sort of trained with my sister's boyfriend, now husband, and it wasn't anything that I ever, I remember they're, trying to show me his Facebook and stuff, and I'm like, guys, I'm just not, it's just not my thing, or whatever.
I had to work a little bit.
All day.
Not him,
all
not
day.
him, but just, I guess where I was in my life, it just wasn't, I don't know, a thing, and then when I met him, he was, like you said, just so, humble and chill, and just, it just, I'm like, okay, this could work. And then I remember him even saying to me, he's like, are you ready for this? To, be with someone who does this? And I'm like, yeah, and it's been good. It's been good. I think that if he had a big head, or like this huge ego, it would make it really tough. But he's so just like
Down to earth, yeah. He's always been.
He is, and like actually at the fight, the last guy he fought, Manny, was standing next to me, and he didn't realize that I was his girlfriend. So he's like talking about Drew and like talking like he's like, man, he's just such a good guy. Like he's like, I know like Darius is my teammate, but like Drew's just such a good guy. And I'm like, yeah, we'll try like being with him. And he's like, no way, you're his girlfriend. But so it was kind of cool because like he had no idea who I was, and just like sit there and like,
You're the fly on the wall.
yeah, just like the last guy that he just beat, like sitting there like talking so nice about him. It just like I don't know, it just.
Well, when they talk about his brother Rick, it's like, but then they get to Drew and they're like, he's nice. Like Rick, they're like, but like Drew, they're like, yeah.
Well, my brother, he's a nice guy too. But he has a chip on his shoulder, that's for sure. And he is a really nice guy too. He's just not one you want to make mad.
Right.
And he's really easy to make mad. So, he's a good guy too, though.
How nervous were you on fight nights? I mean,
I'm not. I just
Really?
get super excited, and I just like can't. Like I just want it to like be there already. But I'm never nervous. Like I just like have so much confidence in him and his talent that I don't know. I think like if he came across as nervous, but he just always seems so just like sure. And I'm not afraid to tell him when he's having an off day in training, but to me, he just always goes in there sure, and it makes me confident, and to see how much work he puts into, I think that also just like it makes me feel like okay, we got this, we're good. So I can't say I'm ever nervous. Maybe just like a little bit anxious for it to get there and like see the outcome, but never nervous.
I just want to get to the chicken wings and I'm done. That's all I want to do.
yeah. I mean, you said you took a week off to enjoy it. What was a typical Drew Morais celebration? Was it with your family or friends?
Yeah, absolutely. Afterwards, we went back to our house. We had some friends over. People who were close. I've had back when I drank all the time, and I had all of the big after parties, and there's people there who were there just because I won.
Right.
It was just just to show their face, whatever. With this afterwards, we went back to our house and we had people who were close to us with us. Like Marco was there. The training partners were there. Some of our family was there, and we kept it in our circle, and it was just relaxing, chill. We had fun, some good laughs, and then woke up early the next morning, no hangover, which was nice, and just went back to our everyday life at that point. It was there's goals that being met, and ain't no time for no partying. So.
Awesome. Drew, tell everybody where you can be found on social media, and if you don't know Drew All Day Morais, if you're listening national, I tell you this, definitely check him out. Things are heading in the right direction, Cham. Where can they find you on social media for all your career?
You can find me on Instagram. It's Drew_All-Day-Morais, M-O-R-A-I-S, and then you can have me on Snapchat. My life's pretty eventful. You can see a lot of stuff with my kids. It's actually all you see, but they're entertaining. I promise you. It's all day 145, and then Snapchat's just my name, Drew Morais. Or not Snapchat. I'm sorry, Facebook.
Well, we want to thank you for coming in and joining us, and like I said, big things are coming, my man.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Jimmy's got what's on tap, and then we'll go to a quick commercial break.
That is not what's on tap. All right. All right. Once again, this is What's on Tap,
I'm from Chicago.
sponsored by Falling Down Beer Company. June 30th at Oklahoma City in Oklahoma on ESPN. We have Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez versus Romero Alexis Angulo. 12 rounds for Ramirez's WBO super middleweight title. Moving on to MMA, June 26th. Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, Season 2, Episode 3, that is in Las Vegas.
Yeah, but who is on that?
I don't know.
Josh Parisian.
Oh, yeah!
Yes. So excited
You like
for
how
that.
I set you up on that one?
No. Jerk.
No, I'm saying I set you up so that you could say his name.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super
Because I know you're
excited.
super excited, so. On June 29th, Bellator 201, McFarlane versus Lara. That is in Temecula, California. And then the only other one that I wanted to mention was on June 30th in Jappy Gymnasium in Paris, France. We have 100% Fight 36. I don't know where these guys get their names from. But that's What's on Tap, sponsored by Falling Down Beer Company. We're going to go to a very, very quick commercial break, and we'll be right back. We're actually cutting our show short tonight. So we'll come back, wrap up a couple things, and then we'll be taking off for the evening. See you later.
Welcome. Oh, I don't think I'm on. Welcome back to the Undercard, everybody. There we go.
There we go.
Welcome back to the Undercard, everybody. Episode 277, I believe I heard earlier. We do have a new...
You did hear.
I did hear it, but no one else did because the lock box wasn't. Lock talk, whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyways, we got a new...
At least I caught it early.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
We got a new sponsor. It's National Credit Card Relief. If you can't seem to stay ahead of your bills, then this message is for you. How would you like to have a large portion of your credit card debts, medical debts, medical bills, and department store debt forgiven? National Credit Card Relief would like to give you free information on proven debt forgiveness program. This program has been used by thousands to legally forgive millions in unsecured debt. It's not bankruptcy. It's not consolidation. This special program actually wipes clean a portion of your debt that is forgiven from what you owe your creditors. Call for free information and get all your questions answered in the first free phone call. The more you owe, the more you can save. If you have at least $10,000 or more in credit card bills, this debt forgiveness program can be very effective. Call for free information and find out now how you can do this. 1-800-218-7170. There is no cost or obligation for the information. Don't wait. Call 1-800-218-7170. That's 1-800-218-7170. Get your debt problem solved. Call 1-800-218-7170 today. So thanks for sponsoring National Credit Card Relief, the Podcast Detroit Network. All right, so now let's get talking. We've not been here for 4 weeks. We take a little bit of time
Yeah.
off in the summer. And
Well, we were talking about earlier, a little bit of illness, a little bit of other things going on. So, yeah, it's been a while since we've been here.
yeah, so I mean,
Life got in the way.
right.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is that how much?
Wait, which crazy thing?
No,
It's
no,
been
no.
a month.
Just how much goes on in a week, and then you miss a week, and you're like 2 weeks, and you
Yeah.
miss 2 weeks, and 3 weeks, you miss 3 weeks and 4 weeks. So I'm going through this really quick, and I'm like, well, what's our last segment going to be, and what can I bring up to Jimmy and throw on the spot on him here? So much negative in the world, Jimmy, that we could do 5 shows in a row of all the bad things, right? But I did want to talk about this because we like talking the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Early Oscar talks that the best picture might be a documentary. The Mr. Rogers.
Yes.
I
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It's Won't You Be My Neighbor?
Or
Right? Is the
something.
name?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Put out by Focus Features.
And I've known quite a few people that have watched it, and everybody that I know has seen it says it's just amazing.
So
It's just amazing.
I saw like a teaser preview. When was this, Rochelle? Like probably February or January.
Yeah.
So a long,
Sure, yeah.
Before even the hype got going on this
Right.
thing, and then the U.S. Post Office put out a stamp after I
Yeah.
read. But
But you
so I-
can't find anywhere.
right.
Yeah.
I started reading some of the stuff that he wrote and some of the stuff he did, and he
Fri
was
Rogers.
right.
Yes.
Amazing person.
Oh, he
Absolutely amazing.
He was probably the single most altruistic person in our within our generation, like our generation knew.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and he was also a trailblazer. He was a trailblazer. He was one of the first people to bring a African American person on his show as an equal.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like a mailman, or it was
Right.
like something, which was unheard of at the time. Which was absolutely unheard of at the time because they were just caricatures at the time, and also like he dealt with things like divorce and abuse, and I mean, just he was a pioneer in these, and bringing things that were usually talked about in like hushed silences or nobody ever talked about it, brought them to the forefront, and let the kids know that it's okay, that bad things happen, but it's okay. I remember there were, and I think if I misquote it, and it might not be him, but something that stuck in my mind is I believe Fred Rogers once said that his mother once told him in a crisis, look for the people that are helping.
It was Fred Rogers. that
Yeah,
said that.
look for the people that were helping. You will always find the helpers. And I think, if you think about it, his show was on from like what, 1960?
A long time.
Yeah, it was like
Right.
1960 something to like 1990, even like the 2000s or
Right.
something like that. So, let's think about that. He took kids through the Cold War, the Vietnam War,
Kennedy
the
assassination.
Kennedy assassination, the fall of communism, the rise of technology, all these things, and he took new generations, countless generations. He took them and showed them that it's okay to be different. It's okay that bad things happen, because even though there are bad things in the world, there's still good in this world, And I really want to see the documentary. I really do. And did you ever watch him when he went in front of, I think it was a Senate hearing or Congress?
I watched that
Yes.
when I was learning about him.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And when he went in front of them, and they're like, why should we give PBS
Money.
And what he said, you could literally, and it's the only time I've ever seen this in my life, you could actually watch the senator slowly, like, you could watch the gears turning, and he went from, why should we give you money to
praising him.
why are we not giving you money?
Right.
It was amazing what he did, He was, I know. I mean, I believe he was a Methodist preacher. So I don't know. I don't know because I'm not sure, but I don't know if they're available. But if he can be, I honestly think he should be nominated for sainthood. I really do.
Right.
I mean, he did more with his TV show than a lot of like higher ups in like the churches have ever done for the common person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, amazing man.
Now, the greatest thing about this movie is that it's going to bring him back in the limelight again.
Oh, yeah.
We even saw some Mr. Rogers merchandise and stuff like that now coming out, and that's great.
Well, they're making a movie with Tom Hanks, I believe, about his life.
Awesome.
As Tom Hanks as Fred Rogers, I believe.
Wow.
I'm gonna look it up here if I remember correctly. But
all you need is Spielberg to direct it, and then that's like
I know
home
exactly.
run. I mean, that's just like.
Oh, I heard it was Ron Howard.
Oh, it probably
either one,
Ron
either
Howard's
one.
pretty good.
Hold on.
Jeez, oh, Pete.
Tom Hanks.
Now you're just making me excited.
Tom Hanks, Fred Rogers.
I don't even think these two have ever watched one of the shows. Have you ever seen the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom
she's like,
Hanks.
What's that?
Yeah, Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers.
That is awesome.
Wait, actually, I think there's even a trailer.
It's fake.
No, it's coming from USA Today.
When was it released?
This was published on March 20th. Hold on. Okay, there's no better way to return to Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood than his 90th birthday. The upcoming documentary, Won't You Be My Neighbor, revealed a new trailer for the occasion. Academy Award-winning director Morgan Neville, 20 Feet from Stardom, takes an intimate look at the lessons
Yes,
and legacy of
that
Fred
trailer.
Rogers, beloved children's television host. Okay. Okay, hold on. Okay, this should hold over fans until Tom Hanks can appear on screen as Fred Rogers in You Are My Friend, which was announced in January.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
so, yeah.
Yes. So, yes, he is. So, I'm going to,
Won't
hold
you
on,
be?
my neighbor. Hello, neighbor.
So
Let me put on my kids.
as we wrap up the
And my sweater.
And my cardigan.
My cardigan, yeah. Hold on, I gotta look this
We're
up
gonna
while we're
make- we're gonna make
talking.
the
Yeah.
kids
Oh, no
watch some
problem.
tonight.
So yeah, you'll like them. So anyways, I just wanted to touch base really because what's going on in the world is just so crazy right now, and Rochelle will verify. I don't know, about the last 7 or 8 weeks, I just tried this positivity stuff, and so I wanted to end the show on a good note with the Mr. Rogers documentary.
Yeah.
And we should both see it and discuss it and
I'm gonna-
say what we like.
I'm gonna
about it.
try to see it.
And
Because it's not everywhere. It's you can only see it in certain theaters.
right,
Should
be in every
theater. Well, you know what? Honestly, like, there's been a lot of movies that have come out that started in art houses,
Right,
and then
and they
got
got
a national wide release because it was so popular. I think that's going to be one of the ones.
awesome.
I really do. Okay, so hold on here. Okay, it's not on his IMDb yet, so dang it. Okay, never mind. I was trying to see when it might come out, but it's not on IMDb yet.
All right, and we will be back not next week, but the following week because
Oh, we're not
next
gonna
week. No, 4th of July. I just found out we're not.
So we come back and we're not going back.
We're a
again.
teaser.
We're a teaser. No, but we will be back soon. And then when we come back, we will be permanently back. And
On
we'll
Mondays
go
for a
from there.
while.
And just a couple more times.
Yeah.
Maybe once.
And then we'll.
We're back
and
to
then
our Tuesday slot.
Tuesdays, yep.
All right. We'll talk to everybody soon. Take care.